the time the game starts. Welcome back, everybody, to day number 8 of Group Stage G1 League action. I'm your host, LD, and of course joining me today is William Blitz Lee. Lots of players disconnecting, though, and we may have yet another remake. But Blitz, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you aboard. I know you cast at least a game for the qualifiers with godz, and, well, I finally get graced with your presence.
That's pretty much what it's like, right?
I've been asking you for a long time to come cast with me.
Yeah, but it's because you always cast at like 3 a.m. I'm like about to go to sleep, and then you're like, okay, let's cast. And I look at the time, and it's 7 a.m.
But for you, that's a normal time. At least it has been in the past.
I fixed my sleep schedule finally.
Damn it! Can't you mess it up just for me?
I'll never see a bad writer, will I? With the Chinese/C teams.
Actually, well, probably not with these teams. But if you watch EG, they seem to get their hands on Batrider quite a bit in this tournament, and well, they like to go for their triple Midas. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about this match. So DK facing off against Natural 9. As far as the group standings go, we're in Group B right now. DK is sitting at 3-1 in a best-of-2 format. So they've had one tie, they've had one win. The team they tied was Orange, and they have 4 points, so they're sitting atop the group. Natural 9, 2-2, 2 points for them. So for Natural 9, pretty important for them to at least take a game here, and if they do, they kind of secure their third-place position in the group. If they don't, if they lose this 0-2, they're in a bit of trouble. Suddenly they're tied with Tongfu, they're tied with Flash Esports, who are both sitting at 2-4, and then the group becomes a three-way tie for last place, and going into the final game for each team, that's kind of a mess, and a lot of drama and sort of hype on the line for those games. But here we are. Let's see how this series shakes out. Obviously, you got to figure DK are going to be the favorites coming into this one. N9 not even using sort of a full roster. FCFC and Winter both standing in. FCFC, of course, from Invasion Red, and Winter from Orange. So using 2 Malaysian stand-ins for this event. All right, with all the background info out of the way, what are you expecting to see from these teams? I don't know how familiar you are with at least how they've been playing in the new patch, but have you gotten a chance to watch any of the G1 games?
I saw the one that I commentated, but I haven't seen N9 or DK play in quite a bit. I saw DK, the last time I saw DK play was the International, and they were still doing the Protect strat around Burning, but they have Super now, right? So things should open up a little?
Super has been playing much more like he did in 2011, back when DK was the best team in Dota 1. So he's sort of been stepping his game up. I don't know if it's just the new roster, making him more comfortable. It seems like they're picking less ultra-hard carries for Burning, and giving Super a little more farm priority and sort of protection in the middle lane. So maybe that has something to do with it, but Natural 9, first pick a Bounty Hunter. Now this hero has won around 85-90% of his games in the G1 League, so I guess it makes sense. You could argue that, well, the teams that are winning with him would probably win with any hero, teams like IG, but hey, first pick Bounty Hunter, new metagame.
Yeah, I talked to Bulba actually the other day, and I asked him for his top 5 heroes to ban in first pick, and well, every single hero that got banned plus Bounty Hunter was his list. So I'm not actually too surprised. Like, that was the exact list he gave me. He said Batrider, Darkseer, Rubik, TA, and Bounty Hunter.
Huh. Well, Rubik comes as no surprise. TA, not so much. Although, the thing with Bounty Hunter, though, is there really a counter to this hero? I guess you can push his lane early, and he can't do a whole lot about that. But even if you're killing him, you have to buy Sentry Wards and Dust, so it's almost a victory for the team that picks Bounty Hunter simply for having him on the map.
Yeah, so once he does die, it is an investment. So anything you got out of like the pull and stuff, your support, you kind of lose it immediately back. And Bounty actually only needs levels. He doesn't need to come up close to get farm like any other hero does, because he snowballs so hard with track. So once you get track off and a successful team fight or two, like the gold lead just rockets out of control. And it's a really...
and even if you're losing, right, it's still... he can turn the game around for you just by throwing a few tracks out there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those heroes that is a catch-all in every situation. And the long lane is kind of the hardest role in general, so giving yourself such an easy one with a bounty just makes life a lot easier for you in general.
Well, first pick Bounty Hunter, a new age is upon us. Queen of Pain, Leshrac, the response from DK. Now, we've seen Super and Burning both play the Queen of Pain. If it's a Burning Queen of Pain, well, he tends to farm a little bit more. If it's Super, we expect to see a little more aggression, but this is a hero, as far as sort of your semi-carries or solos go, this has been, I think, the most popular one in Southeast Asia. Templar Assassin has been, I would say, at the start of the league and even in the qualifiers, but as of late, it's really been Queen of Pain. Part of it is TA's getting banned a lot, and then part of it is teams just seem to be favoring the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, it's a really good hero in general. It's very mobile. You don't need a lot of farm to do damage, but when you do get to kind of one major item, you have a really big game-changing influence, and it kind of opens up a spot for your farmer as well, because it takes a lot to kill Queen of Pain, you know? You have to use your major lockdown spell on him, and then you have to have some follow-up, whereas in a team fight, if that happens, then it opens up your carry to do more. And overall, it's just, she's such a good laner with Dagger, Poison Dagger, or Shadow Strike, is it called? I call it Dagger.
Shadow Strike, yeah, but
everyone just calls it Dagger, so we'll use that.
It's the Dagger.
And Blink makes her difficult to gank with just one other hero, so safe pick.
All right, so this one's got to be a little bit different though. The Slardar picked up by DK. On paper, all these heroes relatively low base armor. Brewmaster, Crystal Maiden, to a lesser extent Bounty Hunter. Although even with him, his HP pool is low enough, so I guess it gives you Vision of Bounty Hunter if you get the amplified damage off. They are on the dire side, so maybe gunning for an early Roshan. When I've seen teams run Slardar in this particular tournament, it's usually as part of a tri-lane with something like a Shadow Demon to set him up. So Shrek, Slardar, Shadow Demon would be the tri-lane if they get it, but I won't be surprised if N9 bans something out. This is a pretty early and kind of odd time to take a Slardar, at least for me. What do you think of this pick?
Yeah, I don't know if it was exactly necessary right now, but maybe they want to get a better feel for what Natural 9 does, so they're just going to pick it up off the bat here, and then kind of work around it. They did get what, like you said, Queen of Pain, which seems to be kind of a premier pick recently, so I think they're comfortable going into the ban phase right now.
And banning out the Night Stalker, that's the IG combo, was the Night Stalker Bounty Hunter. And then they even threw a Sven in there, so you get the armor, you get tons of move speed, and extra gold for all the kills, which, well, you're kind of bound to rack them up, at least if you're IG. Guys, I'm sorry for forgetting to introduce Blitz. Blitz was doing some Dota. God, man, I'm just stuttering all over the place today.
It's adorable.
I'm LD, and he is Blitz, formerly of Root Gaming. He's now doing, and actually, I'll just let you introduce yourself, since I don't even know what you're up to nowadays, aside from that talk show.
Hi, I'm Blitz. I stream on twitch.tv/Barney with 3 Ys. And that's pretty much me. Shout out to Golan15.
It's twitch.tv/blitzdota. You troll. Nice try. Smart ban by N9. They're going to ban out the Shadow Demon, so they remove the setup for that tri-lane. And I guess who's left? If they do want a tri-lane, I guess they don't have to. But it's Slardar's kind of an... He's not... Is he worth giving a safe lane farm, do you think? Do you think DK should do that?
I mean, you can, but he doesn't really benefit from getting really huge. It's really just his combination of spells you want, and once you get a tank item, you're pretty much okay to go. I don't think... It depends, because I don't think DK should run him as a pure farmer at all this game. In my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, and it's... Well... we have seen Chinese teams do it in the past, but not as of late. And I guess in theory, he has amplified damage has been buffed in the most recent version or two, so it's gotten a bit stronger. That could be a consideration. The only thing that I found odd was that they picked him up this early. It's not the pick so much; it's just when you pick him right now. Like if they had gone for the Shadow Demon, then they could have gone back for Slardar. Maybe N9 bans it, but it's not an obvious ban. So I find it a little strange, but hey, there you go. I'm sure DK knows better than me, and we'll find out exactly what they want to do with it later on in the draft. And I'm now betting out the junglers, perhaps sensing that DK needs a lot of levels, needs a lot of farm. And what are we going to see out of N9 the rest of this draft? I've been talking a lot about DK side of things. They start with the Bounty Hunter, they follow up with the Brewmaster. It's a lineup that really needs to hit level 6 at this point. They got to get Shrek, they got to get the Panda ult out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, but if you devote the short lane farm to the Panda, you should have no problems getting the 6 out. It's more just if Bounty can kind of come out in good shape and if he can get to a good start. Because I feel like DK's lineup, like their team fight is just really, really, really going to hurt. And the Slardar, can't you just amp the Fire one and just right-click it to death? Fire one's not immune, right?
Yeah, well, it even goes, you can even cast it on Magic Immune targets. Like even on
so
BKB.
you should be good.
Actually, maybe that's the... I wonder if that's the idea, is just even to bring down the Earth Panda. I mean, not at the very early levels, because it's got, what, like 4,000 health, but a little bit later on, perhaps. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Maybe that's the thought process behind the pick. Now, we'll see if he can actually get it off in these chaotic team fights. But for the moment, on paper... And it's a Bane from Natural 9. I think they've been watching a little bit of Star Ladder, maybe a little bit of CIS Dota. Because this is not a hero we really ever see in Southeast Asia. Or China, for that matter.
It's a really good hero, though. Because you lane really well. You have 2 disables. He's kind of tanky because you can sap people. It's epic.
There you go. There you have it, Bane. Best support in the game. You heard it.
It's just underutilized. He looks a lot like the alien from Alien. How can you not?
Isn't that a reason? Isn't that a reason not to like him? Or I guess maybe you want him on your team instead of.
I rooted for the alien in Alien.
You're a sick man.
He was the protagonist.
You're a sick man. My lord.
They were trying to have children. He came in. Everyone just kind of started killing him and his family. Think of it like that. And there's the Sven pick, so I don't know, you can lane Brewmaster and Bane, and then you could put CM Sven mid or something, or CM Sven bot. But regardless, they have strong lanes.
You know, the other thing that I saw yesterday, and this was actually from Flash Esports, not sure if N9 would really play this way, but they ran Sven as a support and a roamer. So they had Sven and Twin-Headed Dragon. They used all 3 smokes by the 4 or 5 minute mark, and then what they basically did was just smoke in, use Warcry to get close. There's the Twin-Headed Dragon, speaking of which. And he was in the pool, and they still went for Bane. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, they had the Sven and the Twin-Headed Dragon just use smoke, pop Warcry, and then by the time they came out of smoke, they were moving so quickly and they got on top B so fast. They got some easy kills, but in this lineup, it looks like he'll probably be more of a farmer.
Yeah, I can only imagine him to be so. Unless they put like Bane mid and then Sven and CM go and roam as supports or something like that. But I can't imagine they do that because they could potentially win 2 lanes here by dual laning mid and dual laning the short lane.
Yeah, and then it's a bounty hunter for the off lane who pretty much never loses his lane because he's bounty hunter. He's gonna get track. He's gonna catch up in the mid game. So let's see, Super Queen of Pain burning as the Slardar. This is curious, and then we have so it looks like a tri-lane. Could they run dual lanes? I think it looks like a tri-lane for DK.
Yeah, it could very well be. I can't imagine they'd lane it any other way.
I'll be a little bit surprised if they actually go offensive with this, just because it's burning, and, well, occasionally DK's done it, but usually he's not the farmer in that situation. Either way, Super on the Queen of Pain. Looks like he will not be rushing a bottle for the moment. Maybe he will be. Burning on the Slardar. Defensive tri-lane for DK. QQQ or 357. Playing that Twin-Headed Dragon. Sentry's already picked up for some dewarding. If N9 try to prevent it. MMY or Die. God, they all have so many names. He's playing with Shrek. He should be playing a support role as he's got the Observer Wards picked up. And that's pretty much all he does nowadays. Meanwhile, over on the side of N9, what do we got?
We have Risk playing Bane. Godot playing Crystal Maiden, FZ, who's a stand-in playing the Panda, Mascaro playing the Sven, and Winter, right? That's who it is?
Winter, yeah. So they're using... Who are
playing
they?
the Bounty Hunter.
Who are they missing?
30 seconds.
They're missing Shaitan.
Yep. So only 3 stand-ins for N9. This is not really N9 anymore, but hey, we'll roll with it.
It's more of a stand-in team featuring Godot and... crap, who's the other guy? Risk.
We can almost call it... I cast a game with Mouse Sports for Gosu League where it was just Bambo and 4 stand-ins. So it's almost just Godot +4, or Risk +4, but not quite. Either way, let's see. DK with the defensive tri-lane up against the Bounty Hunter. They can push pretty damn hard with Leshrac and Twin-Headed Dragon, especially if QQQ goes for Liquid Fire. Do you think that's what we're going to see, is just like get level 3 or 4 and just start knocking down towers, or just a more pulling and kind of defensive play from them?
Yeah, if you do that, you get a really good gold lead off. You can kind of minimize what Bounty Hunter does as well, and I think that's what they're looking for here, to kind of just deny him as much as he can, and he's kind of in a tricky spot right now. He's going to get Ice Path. They're going to... Where's the... Okay, that missed.
That missed.
That was stuff, and Burning's actually trying to hold the wave back, but inevitably it'll get to the tower.
This was not good. He ran right back into Tidehunter. Winner really wanted that pull and gives up a first blood. Now, when YYF did this, when he was trying to pull the wave as Bounty Hunter, he didn't go for the first wave. He kind of waited, saw the supports in lane, then he went for the pull. I think it was the second, maybe even the third creep wave before he started doing it. Whereas, well, we saw here that Winner just tried to pull it from the word go, and DK were completely prepared for that.
Yeah, they had sentries ready. They had really easy to land stun in the ice path, which sets up the Leshrac really nicely. And the Tidehunter knows that he can't do anything bottom, so he does the smart thing up here and he just pulls. The creeps actually helped, because now the Tide can get a little bit of farm and levels, because he can't do anything at bottom. It's too scary.
Right, and you know the nice thing about that was Bounty Hunter basically did a free creep pull for them as well, as we saw Kung Fu Panda playing the Tidehunter, just farming that up. So pretty happy with that. And now MMY, how many pulls are we going to see this game? They're actually dual laning mid against what was for a moment a tri-lane. So mid lane we have Brewmaster and Crystal Maiden laning against Jakiro and Queen of Pain. Gotta figure the Queen of Pain and the Jakiro have a bit of an advantage here, and for the moment it does seem to be pretty even.
Yeah, it's just going to be really difficult for the Panda to go up and farm, because he's going to get daggered and right-clicked. And Slardar actually doesn't really need anybody up there. Winter did die once already, and he's got a 2-level lead on him, so he only actually needs one hero up there. And the Tide's kind of in the vicinity as well, so...
I guess that's the one nice thing about Slardar in the lane, is even before he gets amplified damage, he's so tanky that if Bounty Hunter tries to harass him or even farm near him, you can just crush and hit him a few times, and he's going to lose a decent chunk of his health. So I guess sort of like an anti-mage in terms of how you can just zone the Bounty Hunter out. And well, they're not just relying on the Slardar. They have plenty of other backup. 3 heroes lurking top. Tidehunter just roaming. Only level 2. At some point he's going to need levels. Winter gets caught by the Ice Pet though. Splitter to follow. In comes Burning, Sprinting, and the Slithering Crush. And a kill again onto Winter, who is really being shut down and also giving DK some golden experience in this lane.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Winter can't do. If he dies, he's just going to give the supports too much. It's a tri-lane, so there's a lot of limited XP going on. But if he gives up the kills like that, he's going to give up too many levels as well, which is the worst thing that could happen. The Lushrac's already 3.5, the Jakiro's 2.5, so things aren't going that badly for them at all. Whereas the Crystal Maiden's only 2.
And the Bounty Hunter's 1. That's perhaps even the bigger concern, is even Tide's out-leveling him at this point. He's close to 3, and now he's going to go back to the bottom lane. And I don't know if they can kill him with a level 2 Bane and a level 4 Sven. Maybe if they dive him, but that's a long dive.
Yeah, as long as he gets a good anchor off, there's actually no way he can die with the Style Shield. And so now that the lane is pushed up a little bit, he goes down there. Really smart of him to pull in the beginning, because he couldn't do anything in the first place, and now he's just gonna soak up XP. Whereas Winter is so screwed. He's level 1 right now, and he's pulling the side camps from mid.
It's a nice thing you can do in this middle lane, but at the same time, it makes life harder for FCFZ, who's got a last hit under the tower, and Super also still managing to get some levels in farm, even though he's up against a dual lane now. And I think that's the Queen of Pain versus the Panda, just being a more versatile farmer. As we see the rotation down to the bottom lane, QQQ is here with that Ice Path. If they dive, this could be a huge mistake, but it doesn't really look like N9 are in any rush to get aggressive. And Bernie is getting free farm, and traditionally that is a problem. Now, he's not playing anti-mage, he's not playing Morphling or any sort of hard carry, but Bernie with 24 CS of 4 minutes, this normally is not a good way to start your game.
Yeah. N9, all they need to do, though, is try not to panic, engage good fights, and once Bounty hits 6, if they can get really good fights going, then they should still be okay. And I think that's kind of what they're banking on with that pick, that he's going to have a terrible start, but eventually he'll be able to pick up.
I guess the one issue might be, though, Panda's a little bit under level because they're dual laning, so he's only 4. He's a way off from getting 6. Clap and the ice, or the freeze on the Super, but he'll blink away, dodges the Nova, he'll survive. Yeah, it seems like DK is getting more, but there is, and the gold and experience graphs certainly support that, but there is a Bounty Hunter in this game, there's the Panda ult, which we haven't seen yet. And they have some good synergy with Track and Warcry. A lot of minus armor for your team, or some minus armor for your team, a lot of armor for your team as well, and they can tower dive and chase pretty well. DK getting level 4 on the Tide. DK's just doing a great job of splitting up the experience this game. Everyone's getting levels, and everyone's getting at least some farm.
That's pretty much all they need to do. Their Tide just has to kind of hit 6 safely, and he hasn't actually died at all. And he's actually been in a kill as well, so things are going pretty well for DK, whereas they've denied the Bounty Hunter for quite a while. It's going to be quite some time before he hits level 6 at this rate. Maybe even at level 10. At that point, Tide should be level 6 and they can take comfortable fights without worrying about that snowball effect.
And sometimes with this off-lane Bounty Hunter, if he gets shut down in the lane, what we see is he just goes to rotate mid and tries to set up a kill or at least harass there. It's a Queen of Pain though, and at level... Oh, he goes down top. Burning and MMY pick him off and shut down even harder. 3 deaths for Winter already. Sitting only 6 minutes into this game, and they could push now. They have 3 points in Edict. Don't have Arena Basilius up yet, so not too much armor, but can at least do some damage to this tower.
Yep, MMY is really farmed too. He's got boots and wards going. And in support money, that's really farmed.
Uh-oh. Risk, no sentries on these supports, so they'll be okay. Or he'll be okay for the moment. And Birdie last hits the tower. Already 1,500 gold up. Dagger is coming soon. Now, we say Slaughter isn't the most farm dependent as far as sort of these mid-game powerhouses go, but if you get a blink this quickly, assuming that's what he goes for, traditionally the Chinese players like sort of their Vanguard or their BKB more, but really either way, he's going to be a fearsome force on the front lines.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to stop him, especially with the amount of farm he's getting. And Sven's actually being pushed back now, only at 24 CS.
Ooh, Super gets assassinated. That was a nice gank by Risk. They sleep to start, set up the Frostbite to follow, and then clap Nova, and they bring him down quickly. So Super not having the best game, but he is 23 CS into it, so not really being shut down fully either. And Burning just left to his own devices top. Now that he's 6, he can just throw Amplify damage at Winner, and Winner can't leave the tower anymore.
Yeah, but now that the lane has been pushed, he has a little bit of an easier time just getting levels, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Just sit still, be safe, try not to die anymore, because he's died a lot as it is.
You sound so sad about it, Blitz.
I love Winner. He's such a good player. It's just such a bad situation to be in.
Pretty much every offlane player has looked really bad in like at least 5,000 games, because that's just what happens in the offlane. As you get caught in these bad positions. Stormbolt onto Kung Fu Panda, and then an immediate retreat. Ravage isn't up, but it's coming soon, at which point they really can't get aggressive on this bottom lane anymore. Are they going to try and go now? Risk is 4, they have another Stormbolt. Maybe they're just trying to use that Stormbolt to kind of lower his HP for the second round. Sven not going to go in yet. The courier arrives, only power treads up for him. He's 28 and 8, he's not farming well, and I guess that's Anchor Smash spam, just making it hard to last hit.
Yeah, QQQ did the really smart thing here by coming bottom. So Kung Fu Panda can just get free levels, and he can negate the offensive potential of their lineup by just spamming Ice Path whenever they go on Tide. And Tide's done a really good job of picking up his farm here.
He's 1 creep from 6. If that creep dies, he's going to have Ravage. It hasn't died yet. Kill the creep, QQQ. Kill the creep. Oh, it dies and he pops the Ravage. He gets 2. What a turnaround. Unbelievable. Now Super comes in. Hits 2 with the ult. Ice Path to follow. Godot next in line. Godot will drop to this, and it's 4 heroes dead because he just got level 6 off of that last damn creep.
Yeah. Fantastic presence of mind there. To just keep calm, go for that creep, and then pop his ult off. And he had like 1 hit left when that ult popped off too, and that turns it into a 3 for 1.
Oh my god, and they weren't even fighting with Birdie there, who's their lead farmer. He's already got a Blink Dagger. Imagine how much worse that fight could have looked. They have the Panda ult now. He has a regen rune. Unfortunately, wasn't able to join that fight. No TP scroll picked up on him yet. It was kind of too late, I guess, anyway. Even if he had TP'd in, the damage would have already been done. 2 heroes would have been dead, and a 3rd probably to follow, but maybe could have done some cleanup. So all of a sudden, DK. Wow, look at the golden experience graphs, and it looks like we're watching DK as the team with the Bounty Hunter. That's just what a big fight that was.
Yeah, and Bounty's actually gotten nothing out of this so far. One of the things you do need to do is take some risks as a offlaner to try and get some levels. But
Panda, nicely done. Clap picks off the Leshrac, and Burning just gonna run away. Now it was 3 heroes to get 1, and they didn't get track gold out of that. But hey, they get a kill, they get on the board. They're getting something, but it's like you said, DK are just they're getting something out of every lane. Super's now farming mid, Tide and Twin-Headed Dragon are posted up bottom, and they're doing this blind, by the way. They don't have wards, they don't have Ravage, but just confident based on what they see on the map that they can stand here and farm. And for the
they saw 2 heroes top, so they know that they're relatively okay to continue pushing bottom. So for now, they'll be alright, and the threat of Tide soon getting his ult.
Yeah, how is it already almost back up? That crazy fight just happened. Oh, it's gonna be up in only 30 seconds, and can't they just keep on doing this? What's to stop them from just forcing fights at the towers? I guess it's just the Panda, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And they saw that the Panda had a move, so they were comfortable taking that fight at bottom. But even with the Panda ult, with Bane being the level he is, not having his ultimate, and Bounty Hunter just hitting 6, they should still be able to keep going and fighting. Even their supports have quite a bit of farm now. An Urn is up on Shakiro, Mana Boots are up on Leshrac, so it's not like anybody's underfarm for them, whereas Crystal Maiden just has boots, Bane just has boots, Bounty Hunter as well, And Sven actually doesn't have that much for being in the short lane farm. He actually has less than the Tidehunter does.
And now a small chunk of that could be tower gold, probably at least, I guess, 400 for the Tide, but nonetheless, he's a lot farther than 400 gold behind. He's a third of the net worth of the Tidehunter.
Top.
And top lane, it's Burning who gets caught, but he's tanky. He's not an easy kill. I think they bring him down here, but man, they're working for it. Maybe not. Finally, the brain snap. Or sap to snipe him off. Oh man, I'm all over the place with my pronunciation this morning. But they get the tier 2 bottom, so honestly, killing Burning, killing that hero who hasn't even participated in a fight really yet, it's nice, but it still feels like DK are getting the better trades. And now Tide's got a blink. 11.5-minute blink on that. What was it? At first, they roaming support Tide, and then turned into an offlane farming Tide.
Yeah, and he's done a fantastic job. You can't really understate that because the Sven right now has treads, and the Tidehunter has a blink dagger and mana boots, meaning he's like 2,000 gold up in farm at 12 minutes. And a lot of that is from the tower gold, but he is kind of beating the Sven in farm as well.
And Tide blinking in Ravage is going to do a lot more for the at this point in the game than Sven walking in or running in and trying to auto attack. There's so many stuns to deal with him. Until he gets a BKB, they don't really have to worry about him. A DK now in prime position to knock down this tier 1 mid and then probably head for Roche. They have the double blinks up. Slaughter and Tidehunter lurking on the high ground, kind of staying back. Burning's going to sprint in, looking to get close, wants to jump on FC, zoning him back, and just the threat of those blinks. Look at the unsafe zone. It's like 1,500 units away from the tower in all directions. DK get the tier 1 unopposed. Gonna keep this pressure up. They have Ravage. They feel they can fight now. They don't want to let N9 get any additional farm. Track onto MMY. Really need to track the 2 blinkers. That's probably the most important. But hey, they have some vision of them now. Kung Fu Panda's going to rotate up to the high ground, make sure it's clear. And now he gets in prime position for a blink Ravage into the tower. Oh, N9 just, they can't even approach this. Do they at least have a blink on the Panda? They don't. He's 100 gold away. Everything looking so bad for them. This is the perfect time to fight. They jump in, Ravage, and the Slithering Crush. FC down instantly. Never going to get that Panda ult off. Now on to Sven. 2 heroes dead. Buyback from Panda, but it's too late. The damage is done. He might even die again. Collapse. Gets the ult off with about 100 HP. The fight now potentially turning the other way. MMY dropping low. Throwing Jakiro up into the air. MMY still alive. God, he's tanky for support. Leshek just from the levels. He's level 8. Fire Panda brought down by the anchor smash, it looks like, and just the auto attacks. Sven will finally get this kill. No, maybe not. Tide survives. FC gonna live. Potentially everyone gonna get wiped. Blink back in. Anchor smash. Sensational play from the Tidehunter. FC evading that last auto attack from Super. Now the frostbite onto Super. Will he drop to this? So many nukes. So much damage. Still Risk. Still alive. And finally Super blinks away. Panda lives on about 50 HP. Tide lives on maybe 10 in the middle of that fight. Oh my god, Kung Fu Panda playing like one right now.
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. Did you see what happened with Super? He attacked the Panda twice at 50 health and missed both of them.
Did he really?
Yeah, that's just kind of the luck he had right there. And a really good presence of mind for them to kind of focus the Panda before he got his ult off. And Panda really couldn't really do anything there as Burning got the stun off and then the follow-up Tide ult, and the Queen of Pain ulted as well, and he did buy back, but still a really big fight for DK.
You know the worst part about that is now his Blink Dagger is not 50 gold away, it's 100 gold away.
No, it's more than that.
Oh, 100. 500 gold. I meant to say 500, somehow it came out wrong.
Yeah, so an overall net loss. The buyback was kind of necessary, though, because things could have gone a lot worse if Panda didn't get his ult off there. Because they would have lost the T2 as well, and that would have just meant all the map presence in the world was gone, and they can't really contest the Roche on either at that point.
And they're up against Slaughter and Tidehunter, so a lot of Midas armor, and Roche will drop very quickly. For the moment, DK, after that massive team fight, they're going to wait for Ravage to cool down at least before they get aggressive. So Kung Fu Panda played it back, played it safe in the middle lane. FC getting close to the blink. Finally, Super with the DD rune on the hunt, on the move. Now blinks away, right as Risk came in, had the ult. That would have been a much-needed track kill for 2 heroes, but unfortunately, he is just able to escape. And just looking at the movement of N9 around the map, they are so limited, so restricted in where they feel safe to go right now.
Yep. Without having any towers and the fact that they've kind of conceded all map control, it's really scary for them to play an aggressive style. So they more have to play reactionary to what DK does, so they just have to respond to the pushes repeatedly, and that's a little dangerous, because if they get caught out in the open field, then they pretty much die because all the blinks allow them to just catch up and pew pew.
Pew pew indeed. Look at how fast this Roshan is dropping with -6 armor. And Edict, of course, doing that mixed damage is going to work pretty well to bring him down quickly. If you give this to Burning, who's actually opted for a drum, interesting choice. You know, you wouldn't think that Slaughter needs the move speed, but the stats really help. And for the whole team as well, it's going to turn them into a formidable chasing squad. Aegis is going to go into Burning, so now he can initiate, Tide can follow up. And I think you just go 5 mid or 5 to whatever tower you want to push at this point, right? I don't know that DK needs to wait anymore.
Nope. This is when they want to have it, especially with the new Aegis having the cooldown that it does. You kind of want to get as aggressive as... Oh, I'm doing it too now. Aggressive as quickly as possible. And I actually like the drum pickup, because one of the things that Slardar does suffer from is his lack of mana pool. And drums kind of remedies that while giving you cheap HP and stats. And it's just a good teamfight utility item for cheap.
Right, and it fits into the game they're playing right now, which is stay aggressive, keep on fighting. Better to have a drum now than a BKB in 5 minutes. I think that's sort of the thought process for DK. And Super, up to 2,600 gold. I wonder if we see an Ags at like the 20-minute mark. If we do an HP check on N9, that's a lot of heroes who just die pretty much to the ult alone. Bane, Crystal Maiden, Bounty Hunter. Well, they won't quite die, but they'll be brought extremely low, and in the case of the Crystal Maiden, might just die. Sven, only sitting on an Ogre X. No BKB yet for him. And boy, does he need it. And I feel even with the BKB, you're still dealing with Bash, potentially. You're dealing with the amplified damage, and that can really negate a lot of Sven's effectiveness.
Yep, and they've got a mech out now too, which just makes them teamfight monsters. This is the best time for them to push. They're not really going to get a lot stronger than this, considering that the lead that they already have. And they've got all the items, they've got drums, they've got the Aegis, they've got the mech up, so they should be pretty primed to fight right now.
New patch update, LD confirming 1750 gold blink daggers. The chat just caught up. Blink in for Burning, stun on the Winner, as well as the amplified damage. Now Winner is forced to run from this. And Panda, meanwhile, has popped the ult. He's driven 4 heroes back. Nicely done by him, but can they turn it into kills? That's going to be the big question. Super taking some damage from the Sven. Will blink away. Now the Ravage. Counter initiation. Hitting on quite a few heroes. Queen of Pain ult just on the Sven. The Panda reforms at this time and still die in the front lines. Burning too. Burning still with the Aegis up. Risk to fall. Ice Path will hit. The chasing power of DK. Everybody's going to drop. A drum charge was used during that fight. They get 3. The Panda ult is now gone, and they're just going to go high ground.
That fight was actually really good for N9 to take. The Tide ulted, but Burning was in the air, and the Queen of Pain actually only ulted the Sven. And that was the ideal situation for them, and it still went terribly badly. Just because they have so much cheap HP on their team. With the drums, they have a point booster on the Leshrac, they have a mech. Everyone's really tanky, so it's just hard for them to get any sort of burst damage going on N9.
I think we're really seeing DK start to gel as a team, because they did make some roster changes, swapping out Long DD. And Lincoln Clap, Panda's gonna jump on this, and that's not a good decision at all, as FCFC should drop, he will. Next onto the Leshrac, actually going a little bit better than expected. Winner now trying to drive back those supports, but just not doing enough damage at this point. And now Winner's caught out, amplify damage onto him, sprint to follow, and Winner is dead. 3 heroes dead. Felt like a bit of a risk to jump in as the Panda, but they knew if they just sat back, they're gonna lose Rax. Now they lose Rax and give up 3 kills. Kind of a rock and a hard place for N9 at this stage of the game, and boy, are they looking sharp. They did not look this sharp earlier in the league in their first couple of games, but a team with some veteran replacements coming in, Die and QQQ, especially Die, and boy, are they starting to come together as a team. And this is not that sort of traditional 4 Protect 1 that DK was doing at the International 2. It's an aggressive kind of mid-game here on the Slardar. They ran some different lanes, not really what you're used to seeing from them, but really played it beautifully.
Yeah, they kind of went for the all-out aggression, we'll take a bunch of team fights, and they did it beautifully too, and I'd like to commend the supports. They got all the items necessary, they got really tanky really fast. Everyone's above 1000 HP, and so it just makes it really difficult for N9 to get any sort of fights going, and the Tidehunter played this game beautifully with bottom going so well for him, that Ravage, and getting more farm than the Sven somehow. And that guy wasn't in the lane for 4 minutes, and he still got more farm than the Sven.
And the crazy thing is how hard they shut down the Bounty Hunter. I don't know if we've ever seen one shut down that hard. Queen of Pain ult goes off, Tide blinks in, Ravage to cooldown in 5 seconds time. At this point, I'm not sure if they need it, but maybe they're going to dive the Fountain here. Pescaro dropping low, blink over the top from Super, Scream to clean him up. 2 heroes now dead, and DK just feasting on N9 in their own base. The Aegis was used up, but that's okay. Burning's going to respawn. He'll come back to life. and they go to work on this tower. And boy, this is IG-esque, really. Just the kill now, win now switch got flipped. And they don't stop to farm, they don't stop to get up items, they're not going for the second Roshan. They know they have a big lead, and damned if they aren't going to end the game right now.
Yeah, I'm actually really pleased to see this kind of 20-minute style that DK is employing. They have that stereotype of DK just kind of carries them once he gets major items, but right now they're kind of utilizing the full force.
Right, the burning, for burning, it's the I am DK kind of thing. Or at least it's been that way in the past. Now, of course, when he was winning games that way, the team did a great job of supporting him, but like you said, the supports just did such a good job, whether it's shutting down the bounty hunter, setting up for that early Roshan, even the things like the twin-headed dragon rotating to the bottom lane. It's all these little subtle touches that they add up very quickly, and I don't know if DK really made any mistakes this game. I can't point to many. It feels like a flawless game of Dota.
Yeah, their rotation, sending the Jakiro bottom was actually genius, because the CM was mid the entire time. The Tidehunter would struggle a little bit, but with the Jakiro there, how does the Bane and the Sven go on him? Ice Path is pretty much spammable, it costs nothing, it's great positional, it locks people down. So Tide just kind of got up there, kept anchor smashing for his level 6, and they did get a bit lucky with the level 6 there at bottom. N9 couldn't have really seen that coming, but still.
It happens, and so you know you're far ahead when you just throw your Azure Aghanim Scepter casually onto the ground while you're busy delivering something to the Curry, but Burning blinks in and catches 3 with the Slither and Crush Ravage to follow. Queen of Pain ult as well. Can you say Wombo combo? Vescaro will be the final one to drop, and now, with everyone alive and almost everyone dead for N9, the GGs come out, but the death push was coming either way. My lord, another beatdown. A little bit expected. You gotta favor DK in this series, but I don't know if anyone expected it to happen quite this way.
Nope, this was pretty dominant. This was about as one-sided as it gets. The kills, it is 24-7, and that's kind of a large margin, but even that's deceptively, it's deceptive in the sense that the game was even worse than that.
And like, these supports, 6-0-12 on Twin-Headed Dragon, 4-1-15 on the Tidehunter. Barely anyone dying at all this game. Leshrac, I guess you could say Die was the team's feeder, but 1-3-14 for him. They got so many assists, and in this version, you really get tons of golden experience for that, so DK just running away with game number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm LD, and joining me today was Blitz. If you enjoy him, if you enjoy his casting, if you want to get to watch him more, you should, by the way. His stream is awesome, very entertaining, very educational. Twitch.tv/blitzdota, and make sure to follow him on Twitter as well. Twitter.com/blitzdota. We'll be coming back momentarily with game number 2, so don't go anywhere, because whether DK stomps or whether N9 comes back, it should be a doozy. Stay tuned for that, guys.